I was 12 years old when I first heard the well whisper my name. It stood at the farthest edge of my grandfather's property, an ancient thing made of cracked stone and covered in thick vines. No one ever used it. No one ever talked about it. It was just there, waiting, watching, listening. My grandfather told me to stay away. He didn't give a reason. He didn't explain why. He just looked at me, his old, tired eyes darker than usual, and said, "That well has been here longer than any of us, and something should stay buried." I listened for a while, until the night it spoke to me. I woke up just before 3 a.m., the house quiet except for the distant sound of crickets. But beneath that sound, beneath the rustling of the trees, I heard it, a voice, faint, distant, echoing up from the well outside. "Come closer." I froze. My heart pounded in my chest. I told myself I imagined it. I told myself it was the wind. The next night it happened again. "I see you." My breath caught in my throat. The air in my room felt different, heavier, like something unseen had settled over me. I pulled the covers up to my chin and squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for morning. But then came the third night. This time it whispered my name. I ran to my grandfather's room, shaking him awake, my words tumbling over themselves. I told him everything, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in his eyes. He didn't yell, he didn't scold me, he just stared at me for a long moment, his face pale and unreadable. Then he said 4 words. "You need to leave." I didn't understand. But he wasn't asking. He sent me home the next morning. My parents didn't argue. No one questioned it. Before I left, I saw him standing outside, at the edge of the field, staring at the well, like he knew something was coming. That was 15 years ago. I never saw my grandfather again. The day I turned 27, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, no stamp, just my name written in shaky, familiar handwriting. Inside was a single note. "The well remembers." That night I had a dream. I was standing in the field, staring down into the darkness of the well. Something stared back. A pair of pale hands reached up from the void, and then, in a voice that sounded just like mine, it whispered, "Come closer." I woke up, gasping for air. Sweat dripped down my back, my heart hammering against my ribs. I turned on every light in my apartment, convinced that I wasn't alone. For a while, nothing happened. Then, a week later, I woke up at 3 a.m. The whisper was inside my room. "Come closer." I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I tried to ignore it, I tried to convince myself that I was imagining things, that I was remembering something from childhood and making it worse in my head. But every night, at exactly 3 a.m., the whisper came back. I should have never gone back, but I did. I drove 6 hours to my grandfather's house. The property had been abandoned since his passing, left untouched. The house was covered in vines, the windows coated in dust, the paint peeling from the walls. It was as if time had swallowed it whole, and yet the well was the same, unchanged, waiting. The stones were cracked, the air around it unnaturally still. The silence was unbearable. The trees didn't move, the birds didn't sing. The world felt like it was holding its breath. I stepped closer. The air turned cold. Something inside the well shifted. I could hear it breathing, a slow, deep inhale. Then a whisper, "Come closer." I should have run. I should have never come back. But I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. And then I saw it. A hand, pale, thin, with long fingers, reaching up from the well. Not just any hand. My hand. I stumbled back, horror clawing at my throat. The hand twitched, fingers stretching, reaching for me. And then the whisper became a chorus. "I see you. We remember. Come closer." I turned and ran. I don't know how I made it back to my car. I don't remember starting the engine. The next thing I knew, I was miles away, my hands trembling against the steering wheel. But it didn't matter, because the whisper followed me. That night I woke up at exactly 3 a.m. The air in my apartment was still. The whisper was not outside, it was inside. Closer. I turned on the lights. I locked the doors. But the whispers didn't stop. They never stopped. And now, when I look in the mirror, my reflection smiles and whispers back, "The well remembers." And now so do you.